And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here from Lakers Fast Break, Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcasts. I just dropped earlier today the latest PC Multiverse on the Pop Culture Cosmos Network, where we talk extensively and give we give a review of Assassin's Creed Shadows. And I have a conversation, part one, on the magic of season 2 of Severance. So go ahead and check that out today, wherever you get your podcasts. Also, as well, John Koss is here, the casual that he is. It is, of course, the man behind Clutch Talk and Lakers Corner. But, I didn't know if you were saying something.
Don't do that.
Okay, well, you called us. I said this the other night. I'll just get into it right now a little bit. I say, whatever your opinion is on that debate, or if you think Jokic or Russell or whoever's in there, we're all not being paid an extensive amount. Believe me, I did my taxes a couple weeks ago. I know exactly how much I'm being paid. You cannot be calling me a professional. I can't call you professional because I could probably guess on your taxes how much you make from your channels. So, in essence, we are all casuals. So I'll just leave it at that, my friend. So, but we're good casuals, and we're casuals, but we're good friends. It is, of course, you could be a casual too at Clutch Talk and Lakers Corner by liking and subscribing. Yes, he's got the L flashing up there. Yes, indeed. Of course, also as well, the Lakerholics, or Joe called them the alcoholics last night. I thought that was good when he popped that one. I thought, Joe really had like 2 hours of dumb jokes today, but last night he ripped a good one with calling the Lakerholics alcoholics. He was just kidding, of course, but it looks like they're going to do a Sunday show. Looks like they kind of confirmed it. So we'll go ahead and go with that they're coming back at Sunday. Go ahead and check them out today at Lakerholics.com. Our good friend Stone Hansen covering the draft. He'll be eyeing the Final Four. I know Zach will be eyeing the Final Four. I know Magic will be eyeing the Final Four because he picked Houston. I picked Dallas. I picked Duke, excuse me. And the thing is with Duke, Magic Man, if Duke wins and everything lines up, Zach will actually have 99.9% of the games right. And he will still probably be in like 50,000 out of the 34 million. He still won't qualify for the big prize.
Damn.
Magic,
I can't hear you, Magic.
I can't hear you, Magic. Okay, no worries. $5 from no Joker. Truly appreciate it. I hear you a pro as soon as you get paid. Not what I get paid. I think you need a couple notches higher. Okay, you need a lot of notches higher on that. So, let's not put us at pros just yet. I'll just leave it at that. Casuals, I think, for all of us would be the way that we describe it.
For now,
for now. In
the future. I was going to ask you, Gerald, is Warren Buffett's offer still stand where he's willing to give somebody $1 million?
Somebody won it this year because it was the first 30. Wasn't it first? And somebody got 29 or 30 of the first 30 games. They get the $1 million from him. And somebody from Berkshire in his company did win that. I do remember reading that last couple weeks ago. But so I was looking at the ESPN updated, and Zach is at 99.9% of the top people listed on the ESPN challenge, and there's still no way he's going to come close to winning. Because you looked at it. Yeah, Gerald, I'm 83,000 out of 34 million, and he's only missed like one game. But what can you say? I want to go ahead and make sure you guys know about Empire Jeff covering the latest and greatest with the Lakers and Dodgers. Our beloved Joe Soro has the Joe Soro experience. You could go ahead and like and subscribe today. He'll probably be blabbing about the Dodgers at some point in time. So go ahead and check him out there because it actually is good conversation that he provides on that show. I do want to compliment on him, all kidding aside. Also, as well, go ahead and make sure you listen to Daniel Berry Sports Highlights and cover his YouTube channel, and all the great things, all the great places, all the great people. Go ahead, like and subscribe. Thank you so much to Search and Destroy, the latest member that's become a part of our Lakers Fast Break. He's rejoined and became re-upped as a membership. So go ahead, subscribe today. Like, subscribe, become a member, do all that great stuff today as a member of the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. All right, the Lakers, after that tough loss yesterday against Golden State, back-to-back, should have been easy, right, against New Orleans. Already sitting down Zion for the season, already sitting down CJ McCollum for the season. DeJounte Murray, we talked about him and the fact that the Atlanta Hawks are laughing all the way to the bank with Dyson Daniels and 2 picks, and in exchange, DeJounte Murray is kind of laid up for a while. But their season in New Orleans has gone in the toilet, which would have been really great for the Lakers. But the Lakers have always had trouble this season, as we have talked about, with teams that are not doing so well. As Magic always says, they've been playing with their food. And for the first 3 quarters, they went to lunch, Magic. They went to lunch, John, because they were playing with their food indeed. They just, not that they were in any trouble of losing this game, although a couple people in the chat I was reading thought that would be the case, but they were down like 7, 10 points for most of the game. And then finally, they decided to wake up. Late third quarter, they decided to turn it on. And in the fourth quarter, they finally got their act together, outscored New Orleans 31-24, and pulled away the very end, giving LeBron, Luka at least a couple minutes of rest at the end with a 124-108 victory. Tonight, Luka got it done in volume, 10-21, 4 of 10 from 3, perfect from the line and 11 free throws, 35 points for him. Jackson Hayes, 12 rebounds. LeBron, oh, by the way, he got 27. And Austin Reaves with another efficient game with 30. The bench still didn't do us any favors, but we didn't need them tonight. Again, we pulled away in the fourth quarter for a 124-108 victory. The key here is, with just a few games left in the season, the Lakers have pulled back and regained third place in the Western Conference due to the Golden State Warriors, the hot, streaking Golden State Warriors, beating the Denver Nuggets tonight at Golden State at the Chase Center. So they pulled within a game of the Lakers. They pulled a half game behind the Denver Nuggets. And we'll go over all that here in a minute. But here today to discuss today's game, 2 great guys indeed. First up, first man here is a good man indeed. He's the madman from Toronto. He did get out of Toronto traffic to stop on by to go ahead and tell us about the game. Plus, he was a major part of our playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break live coverage, along with Lakers Corner. Our Miami friends stopped by also as well. It was Zach. Joe too, of course. Had a whole great crew there tonight. Absolutely. It is, of course, the Magic Man, Sean Grice. Sean, glad to have you here. At least they finished it off strong. At least they finished it off and did what they needed to do. They finally got the big lead in the end, but man, just like to play with their damn food all the time, don't they, this season?
Yes, Gerald. For whatever iteration, whatever criteria you want to put them into, they just play down to their opponent. They play down to the level of their opponent. They have an uncanny ability, Gerald, and it's like watching 2 polar opposites. They have this uncanny ability to rise up to the occasion against teams, either maybe have more talent than they do or as equal skill, but yet the Lakers seem to find a way to pull away for victories most of those games. I will say this, Gerald. It felt like they had sushi and were just sleepwalking through the first 28 minutes of this game because there was no ebb and flow to it. It felt really choppy and lackadaisical on their part. What really was frustrating me watching this was the lack of awareness and I think more focus on being able to try to corral Jose Alvarado into spots on the floor where he's not 11 feet open for a three, Gerald. And yet that continued to happen in the first quarter. I mean, Jose Alvarado almost outscored the Lakers by himself in the first quarter. And this is a night after Gerald had said Brandon Podziemski had the game of his life, and now you let Jose Alvarado have the quarter of his life. And finally, as Gerald eloquently said, they turned it on. They stopped playing with the Brussels sprouts, and they just ate them. But it did not go down easily, Gerald. And the Lakers continue. I think the Lakers continue to frustrate themselves. We've been the word the past week or so has been arrogance, and Johnny talked, and me and him have talked about the arrogance of some of the attitude of guys on this team, and it starts with LeBron. If Dookie rolls downhill, Gerald, then it starts with the LeBron and JJ.
It does.
It does. Also here today, good man indeed. It is, of course, the mastermind behind Lakers Corner Clutch Talk. It is John Costa. John, also good to have you here, my friend. Such a great part of what we do here. Playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. Of course, your channels as well. Casual or not, the Lakers seem to take it casually, which is the theme of the day I'm going to enter it, because for 3 quarters, they took it extremely casually, which is always of a concern because you can never always count on a team turning it on when they need to. And sometimes it just irritates me because it's a sense of urgency. And as you get closer and closer to the end of the season where you will not get any rest, you need to find moments of rest for your top players. And again, we saw LeBron laboring on a back-to-back, sometimes getting back on D. I saw that again, like we talked about the other day. Same thing with Luka, looking a little bit more tired, getting hit. Although it didn't affect his free throw shooting, I got to give him credit for that. It was perfect from there. But your thoughts, John, again, you need to find as a team any bit of rest you can while still trying to go ahead and being able to get the highest seed possible. This was a game where the Lakers could have finished them off in the first half, chose not to, played like they didn't want to, and played like they wanted to go ahead wait until they could just turn it on whenever they wanted to.
Yeah, Gerald, and that's honestly one of the points I want to harp on in this game. I mean, look, we're sitting at a top 3, top 4 seed in the West, and we're playing the Pelicans that have no Zion, no CJ, and we had to play Luka and LeBron 30 minutes plus. Luka Doncic played 35 minutes, LeBron played 32 minutes. That is like, yesterday Joe was talking about empty calories. That's kind of like what I feel. It's like wasted empty calories. Like we wasted the gas out of Luka and LeBron. When it's so, I mean, especially with LeBron, it's so just like it's so important. Is we can't just be acting like the man's 18 years old and has all the minutes out here to be playing. And we did that because we played with our food. We did that because we couldn't get it together. Because what I say, what Magic Man says, what we all say over here all around time, we play down to our competition level. When it's a better team, I don't know, them boys turn it up mentally and they play up to their level. When it's a bad team, I don't know. Maybe I would, people say we don't hold JJ accountable. That came out of nowhere. But
Corbina just gifted out 10 memberships. So thank you so much, Corbina. Truly appreciate you doing that. Thank you again for allowing 10 people now to have memberships to the Lakers Fast Break. Go ahead, John.
Thank you. Appreciate you for doing that, Govina. But no, what I was saying was, it's a problem when we're playing a Pelicans team that is just, so much worse than us, no matter how you put it, no matter if you like the Lakers, no matter if you don't like the Lakers. And we had to have, LeBron had 27, AR had 30, Luka had 35.
You're awesome.
And to me, it's just wasting those guys' energy, man. We should have put this team out earlier, and I have to hold. And I mean,
you're awesome.
This you're awesome thing really is fucking me up. I ain't gonna lie. But anyway, what I will say is, I think JJ Redick, he has to do a better job of keeping his guys motivated. That's one thing
awesome.
I will say, because I feel like when you're playing down to somebody else's level, the issue is you're not motivated. You're not locked in, because if you have a coach that's keeping you extremely motivated, or even just a leader that's keeping you extremely motivated, you can stay focused even on a bad game like this. Or I mean, even when you play a bad team like this. But for us, it seems like every single time we play a bad team, we play down to their level. And I just think that comes from, lack of, leadership, and lack of that discipline coming from the top. And just like how Magic Man said, it starts at the top. The statement I like to use is, it starts at the head of the snake. Whatever the head of the snake will do, the rest of the body will follow. So I'll say with that. And Joe's here, man. So talk to us about that sick Black Mamba jersey.
Once again, it is the
that
Lakers
you never sent me the link to.
By the way, you and Gerald never asked for one.
Okay. Didn't know I was on ask basing.
I didn't know it was on ask.
First of all, Sloan said, please, if you can find me one in LA. And then Sean's like, bring me an extra large. I was like, all right.
Well, if you ever do, we would be most appreciative, because
Gerald and I would appreciate it, Joe.
Yeah, I got these. These are not authentic. I showed these the other day. These are not authentic, but a viewer did send these to me, so I will wear them. So I mean, again, they're not authentic. They don't say Lakers on them, but it's the thought that counts. So I truly appreciate it.
These are the first runs. I have another one coming. There's another jersey.
You. Well, appreciate it. If you ever do, I'm most indebted to you.
I'll tell you. I'll let you all know. Joker, I got you. Don't worry about it.
Sam Khan says, Gerald, who wins the tiebreaker if there's a 6-way tie between it is the Lakers. If they win, Houston's not involved because Houston's got number 2. Their victory tonight, they've got number 2, Magic Man.
But Gerald, how many?
But they win the tiebreaker over everyone else.
Keep going, Gerald. Keep going.
I was just going to say they win the tiebreaker over everyone else outside of Houston, which they are tied at. And then, of course, OKC, which they haven't really played yet either. But at this point, the only thing they have to concern themselves is, because they don't have a shot for number 2 at this point, is the 3rd seed. So they do have the tiebreaker because of also as well their record. If you take a look outside of OKC, they also have the best record against the Western Conference. And that is also one of the tiebreakers as well. So that's very important heading into these final games.
100%. Houston can finish no lower than 4th right now, because they are going to win their division, and they own the tiebreakers on pretty much everybody except us right now, because we have 1 game left. So it's coming down to do or die here, Gerald.
Coming down to do or die, indeed. But once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is Magic Man Sean Grice, John Costa from Clutch Talk and Lakers Corner, and me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching, listening. The Lakers win 124-108. They're now 47-30 in 3rd place. And we'll go again. We'll elaborate more on the Western Conference here in a bit. But here today to go ahead and discuss today's game is a good man indeed. Our kidding to each other aside all the time, whether it's in chat. Still got to add Raphael and Legend to that chat, that famous chat that you have. Of course, also as well, go ahead and check him out on his channel, which I mentioned before. Please like and subscribe. You guys have done a great job. We're now at 2,290 subscribers here. I'm hoping you'll do the same, not only for John's channels, but also this man's channel as well. It is the Joe Soro experiment. It is Joe Soro himself. Don't forget his game Corrupt, and don't forget his company right there on the jersey, Simblades, SimbladesWithAY.com. Joe, good to have you here. It's just frustrating sometimes with such talent out there. I understand back to back, blah, blah, blah. But you and I are just like, okay, they should be more mentally prepared to do these things when thrown in front of them. I talked to John just now and I said, This team, when given the opportunity with such few games left, and the fact is they're going to go full board here in the not too distant future, they need to find every bit of rest that they can. They should have finished off this team in the first quarter instead of letting Jose Alvarado go wild on them and letting this team think it have a chance to win until the fourth quarter, Joe. It just is a matter of sense of urgency. I just don't see that all the time from the Lakers right now, like I did during that 8-game winning streak.
I've said this twice already. As soon as Jemison got put in there and he took Alvarado to the ground, you didn't hear about Alvarado again. I keep telling you guys think I'm joking around.
No, you're not. You called it right there on the chat.
This is actually how I've even used this tactic in gym ball, just playing at the gym. Where you've got these little guys that are running around, and all of a sudden they think they can just, they can play Allen Iverson at that time. I remember I was calling one of the guys AI. I'm like, oh, here comes the AI. I go, come into the paint, and I'm going to do a little and then we'll see if you can focus on the game still. Of course, as soon as I did that, he kind of looked at me, and you never saw him play. You never saw him get to the basket again. That's normal. That's basketball. That is basketball. That's how I played basketball. Now, you still have to have skill. You still got to make shots. You still got to be able to, get to the basket and run a coherent offense, even though it's just, pickup games. But when I thought it was too coincidental that Jemison wasn't playing, he hadn't played in I don't know how long. All of a sudden, he gets in there, does his business, looks over Alvarado, talks some smack, and then there's a ruckus, and then all of a sudden, I didn't hear anything after that about Alvarado. So, JJ, I'm going to assume you did that on purpose. Good job. Maybe he felt a little frisky because he didn't do his hair today. I highly agree. You should do that again. As far as the Lakers playing up to their standards, quote unquote, for the Apple podcast audio people, I'm doing the little bunny ear, quotes. The Lakers have never shown that they want to tear you up from beginning to end. They're just lackadaisical until they don't want to be. Then they turn it on, and then usually they're able to get through it. There's just too much arrogance there, whatever it is, and they're going to get the ultimate test here in a couple of days. The Lakers right now, because of the ascension of the Golden State Warriors, are only a game out, game ahead in the division. Now, technically, they're 2 games because they own the tiebreaker against Golden State, but
they also own the tiebreaker against the Los Angeles Clippers.
Correct. So right now they're ahead 2, counting the tie if they have to have a tie, and that could be changed though if they get beat in both games against Oklahoma City. They have to win one of these games to really have a shot at making sure that they get that third seed. I think that third seed is the final frontier for them. If they drop the 4 or 5, there's a very big possibility they get bounced in the first round again. And that is a very scary thing because I would rather have them play preferably either the Clippers or Minnesota. Now, I would rather have them play the Clippers because of travel. If they can somehow play the Clippers in the first round, they can get that 6th seed and the Lakers get the 3rd. That travel is going to save all this tired part of their being at this point because Minnesota might as well be an East Coast team. They're going to be traveling back and forth. That's going to take a toll on them. And then at that point, I'm not too worried about Houston. I'm sorry, I'm not. If Houston ends up beating Minnesota, or let's say Minnesota upsets them, I don't mind playing Minnesota or Houston in the second round. And should the Lakers get through that, then the real test comes with Oklahoma City. And it'd be nice to get them, get their feet wet a little bit here in the next couple of games to get a good feel because I don't think they've played Oklahoma City since they've gotten Luka, have they?
No.
No, we have not.
Yeah, so they're gonna have a chance to introduce themselves the next 2 games with Luka at the
helm.
I was gonna say at the helm, but it's still LeBron and him at the helm as well.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
What's up, Tough?
There can only be one captain of a ship. There aren't two captains, Joe.
I am the captain now.
I am the captain now.
That's a good movie right there.
That
Look
is
at
Luka.
me.
That is
Look at
Luka.
me.
I am the captain now.
He goes up to LeBron like, look at me. Look at me.
He actually would sound like that too.
He would.
A little bit, yeah.
The Slovenian accent. I'm the captain now. LeBron, my hero.
LeBron's just like, okay.
LeBron was such a hero to Luka when LeBron was trying to campaign for him to be Team LeBron. He went to Team Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, wait, what the fuck? I thought this guy was your idol. What the hell are you doing?
I'll tell you what, though, it's going to be very interesting how this plays out over the final games of the regular season. I'm going to go ahead and bring up the actual standings for the Lakers here in just a second. But Magic Man, before we get into that, we saw a sighting, a Dalton Knecht sighting today. And in the first half, he showed why he may want and may deserve, depending on who you ask, more playing time. But with the playoffs coming, I still think he's the odd man out in the rotation, unfortunately. But how encouraging of a sign was Dalton Knecht's play today, Sean?
I would say encouraging for him, Gerald, and encouraging for the Lakers if JJ decides, he wants to play Dalton Knecht a consistent 20 minutes a night. Because I think at this point, 20 to 25 minutes a night is probably adequate for what he could do. Now, I think that's going to decrease heavily come playoff time, Gerald, because we know that Maxi Kleber is coming back very soon. So, unfortunately, I believe Dalton Knecht will be supplanted again in the rotation. And he's going to have to continue to play this way if he wants to get playing time as we roll down the stretch here, Gerald. He made his first 2 threes, Gerald, but he missed his last 4. He had 2 pretty decent defensive possessions, Gerald, but he got beat a few times as well. He's struggling. He's still struggling defensively, Gerald, and we've talked about this. I really don't think he's engendered the confidence from JJ Redick, where JJ feels confident that if he puts Dalton out there, that he's not going to be a hindrance or an obstacle.
He's going to be a break glass in case of emergency in the playoffs. I think people just need to come to grips with it at this point.
Yes, because
he might be a Lonnie Walker for us in one of those games and might go crazy in one of those games. Don't put it out of the realm of possibility, but then he'll go like a game where they give him minutes after that, and then you'll realize why he was on the bench in the first place, because he just can't defend at an NBA level.
That's right, Gerald. He'll shoot 2 for 4, maybe hit a couple threes, but give up 10 points on the other end. Yeah. So it's almost just and I think that's what JJ wants to see, Gerald, is that there's a greater than sum zero effect that Dalton Knecht has on the game. Like, he actually has a positive net impact on the game from an offensive and a defensive perspective. And I just don't think he has engendered that confidence to have that kind of responsibility. And especially with the way that, JJ has more confidence in Gabe Vincent, so to speak, than Dalton Knecht right now. So Gabe Vincent is a vet. Dalton is not. Gabe Vincent has shown prowess for hitting open shots off Luka and LeBron passes. Dalton is, we don't know yet, Joe, because again, he hit his first 2 trays. He missed his last 4. He needs to be more consistent on both ends before he can gain the confidence of JJ Redick and the coaching staff.
Well said, my friend. John, go ahead. I was going to
I was just going to talk about Dalton real quick. I mean, I was just going to say, Magic Man already touched on a lot of it, but I think JJ, I understand why he's not playing him, but I think, he has to, he's going to have to, at some point. And Joe brought up a great point when we were in playback that we talk about a lot here. It's like, well, if the defense already sucks sometimes, it's like in regular season, what do you lose? Come playoffs, now I get it. Now, if we're playing him out there, like 20 minutes and he's getting targeted, it's a whole different story. But there's no reason to me that there should be games where he's getting DNPs and our defense sucks anyways. Like those are the times that I think it's like a killer to his confidence. And as a young guy like that, the number one most important thing is what? Confidence, man. Knowing that you can do it, knowing that you belong. And if you at all in the NBA start to get a slight feeling of, man, I don't belong over here, it's over for you. They're going to pounce on your neck, these guys. So that's one thing I'll add to that.
Rodell's putting in the chat, JJ seems to have more confidence in Goodwin than Dalton right now. That's the tried and true coaching thing, John, we see. They always prefer veterans. Even if those veterans are not more talented and could ultimately help you down the road, not as much or not as quite as maybe a younger player could. Yeah, John, it's just as simple. They always rely on the veterans. And thank you, No Joker. Truly appreciate the super chat. Goat
No
LeBron
Joker.
Told me to hook up our host with some coffees. Thank you.
No Joker, man. You gotta love him, man. And JSJ, I got a question for you because JSJ said here in the chat, as long as we don't face Golden State in the first round, he's good. Man, I'm gonna be honest, guys, and tell me if I'm far off here, but I'm not afraid of facing the Warriors. I'll be honest with you. That is not a team I'm afraid of here. So I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if you guys disagree. But
those buttholes get tighter in the playoffs.
No. John, we live in the age of information entrapment and recency bias. I think that's what people are suffering from right now. We kicked their ass the 3 games before we played them.
Absolutely.
I'll still take our front line over their front line.
Does anybody not remember that? Yes, Gerald, 100%. So, no, I'm not worried about the Warriors.
Wrong, Gerald.
What everything tonight we're wrong. What do you mean? What do you mean we're wrong?
Don't even listen to that guy, guys. Okay. Don't even listen to that guy.
All I will say to James' incorrect text is this: you need to flash forward, go back on Twitter. All the times LeBron has
your hairstyle is wrong. Okay,
he has praised Dalton Knecht. All the times he's thrown flowers at Dalton Knecht. Yeah, I get your rookies and LeBron thing, but all the times this season he has thrown flowers Dalton Knecht's way. So don't give me that BS. I'm just saying that right now and always, coaches always prefer veterans over rookies, no matter how much more talented those rookies are. It's just a fact of life. And incorrect Hex, if you understood the game of basketball and watched the NBA correctly, but you're incorrect, you can't, you would understand that. And we're just going to leave you alone and ignore you for the rest of the show. But enjoy the show anyways, right here at the Lakers Fast Break. Let me bring it back to you, John, and also Joe, get you and Sean into this. Again, it's the Lakers Fast Break. The Lakers win 124-108. Here's the standings right now, guys. Houston in second place at 51-27. They've got second place sewn up. I think at this point, I think it's just at this point, we need to worry about third place, which we have at 47-30. Denver, a half game behind, as Joe mentioned, at 47-31. Golden State, the fast rising Golden State. Sean, can you look up their schedule for Golden State for me, please, real quick?
Yes.
They're a game behind in the standings at 46-31 at 5th place. Minnesota is a game behind them, tied with the Clippers, same record, although Minnesota has a tiebreaker, 6th and 7th, and in 8th place, guys. John, tell me your thoughts on this. How the mighty have fallen. The Memphis Grizzlies come up.
When the hell was Memphis mighty?
Earlier in the year, about 6.
Remember, they were in second place at one time in the Western Conference.
So Utah had the first seed last year for like a month.
Yeah, okay. It's
how the mighty have fallen.
Well, they've been pretty
good.
They've been a pretty good team all year. That's all.
All right, and then also after that, they're 45-32, tied with the Clippers in Minnesota in the tiebreaker. They lose out. Dallas is 38-40, and Sacramento is 37-40. And the Phoenix Suns, with that ultra expensive roster, John,
it's crazy,
is on the outside looking in.
They definitely
2 games back.
Every time a team wins like 3 or 4 in a row, everyone starts to jizz on that team. Why don't you guys wait till the freaking playoffs start, then start analyzing? Like, this is how it's been the whole freaking 6 months.
Yeah.
And I mean, come on, relax.
And I absolutely love my boy JSJ. But he's just, he's here in a chat, and I wouldn't say he's jizzing over the Warriors, but I do think, to what Sean just said, like,
is this something in my
teeth? He's just having like recency bias to the Warriors.
Put your hair down, please.
It's just like, come on, guys, like,
put your hair down.
When playoff rolls around, guys, like, we got to understand that, us having the best two players in the series would make all the difference in the series, like right there and then. And Gerald, if you could pull up the standings again, just so everyone sees. But we're sitting a game in front of the Warriors. And look, even if we do end up as the 4th seed, like let's say Denver clinches the 3rd seed and we end up as the 4th seed, we play the Warriors. I'm loving that matchup. But let's say we finish as the 3rd seed and end up having to play Minnesota, the 6th seed. I'd feel a little less confident in that matchup, only because, to the point that me and Sean were talking about in playback today, of like, if we were getting obliterated by Jose Alvarado as a guard, right? Could we only imagine what, quick guard like Anthony Edwards will do? And I'm not saying that, Curry wouldn't do that, but I'm saying the rest of their team is built, I think, more to beat us. They have those bigs, so they can take advantage of us, not only inside, but also Anthony Edwards can get to work. Now with the Warriors, Stephen Curry may do his thing, because we don't have too many great perimeter defenders to send at him, but they have no one inside similar to us. They have no big inside similar to us, so it's not like we're gonna get killed in the paint. Not like we're gonna get killed on the glass. And even on top of that, I don't know if you guys remember, but last time we played the Warriors, we sent Vando, Mr. Seat Buckle himself to just lock that shit up. And that's one thing that Curry struggles against, man. Those long, lengthy players who can just, hover him. And he's Stephen Curry, so he'll still get off. He'll still have his 37-point games like he did last night. But again, 7-game series, we have the top 2 best players. And we have an answer. No, I wouldn't say an answer. We have somewhat of an answer to, at least for one game, slow down Stephen Curry. I don't know, man. I'm feeling really, really good about if we end up here as the 4th seed and play the Warriors in the first round.
So, Magic Man, let me know about what's up ahead for the Golden State Warriors, because again, a lot of eyes are on them.
I got it for you, Gerald. So, big game Sunday night. Houston Rockets come into the Chase Center. Then they play the Phoenix Suns, a back-to-back. Phoenix, and then in San Antonio. They finish off with the Trailblazers and the Clippers. So the Golden State Warriors basically play 2 common opponents in playoff races and play 2 ne'er-do-wells and 1 we don't know what you are, Phoenix.
They could get Durant back, though, by that time. They could get Durant back for that game. So
it's quite possible.
And they'll be desperate. They'll be desperate.
So yes, they will be desperate. So we're not sure here, Gerald. I mean, it took look, they've been streaking, right? That they've won 13 of their last 16 games. The Warriors are the hottest team in the NBA right now. I would concede this. It looks like they should, on paper, they should win probably 3 out of the 5 guaranteed. If they win one of the Rockets or Clipper game, they have 51 wins. I would say 51 wins probably puts you in a 4 or 5 spot. Now, with that said, you do not own the tiebreaker against the Lakers or the Nuggets. So you have to probably go 5-0 if you want to guarantee yourself a spot in that 3 seed. So the big challenge right now is that the Warriors have to go streaking if I believe if they want to get home court advantage. Other than that, I don't think it's going to happen.
Sam's so funny. I'd rather see just about anyone else other than OKC, Denver, and LA. See anybody else you want to add in there? Just add 3 of the 8 teams.
Yeah,
I just want to see one side.
I know. Yeah, I don't.
I just don't want to see 1 through 5.
I don't want to see the Hornets. They've been taking the past 2 months off, and they're probably due for a good 7-game stretch.
Joe, I agree with you. If they get the series against the Clippers, crosstown, blah, 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 and all that, the fact is the Lakers do not have to travel. And I don't care if it's spread out, like those, the first round is kind of spread out more than most of the other rounds because they spread out for TV. So they sometimes will give an extra day off here or there. It still would be beneficial for the Lakers to play the Clippers just because you are at home in your own bed for all the games in Los Angeles, Joe.
Yeah. Limiting anything in terms of travel will help. And if they end up playing Houston, looking at the standings,
you're showing Denver's
remaining
schedule. Can you blow it up a little?
Yes, I can.
I just hope it's not Memphis. I don't want Memphis in the second round if they are able to get to the second round, because now you're essentially playing a East Coast team in the second round. And then if you're likely going to face Oklahoma City, I think Oklahoma City is getting to the West Conference Finals regardless.
Yeah.
And then you're going to play another East team where you're traveling back and forth. So anywhere where you can limit the travel a little bit before you get to OKC is going to just add more energy to the team for possible run.
Denver's schedule looks okay. The Houston game, it might be problematic because Houston might be resting everyone.
But thank you for that segue, Gerald. That was excellent. Houston's the swing team here. They're the swing team. They play the Lakers. They play the Warriors.
And they play the Nuggets.
They are the swing team in this whole, and they're in the catbird seat. They're in the second seed, Gerald. I don't think they can afford to lose a couple of those games to the Lakers or the Warriors or the Nuggets. And I think Ime Udoka is an intelligent coach, and I don't think he's going to let them rest on their laurels and think it's just because we're up a couple games that we could slow it down and pick it back up again. He's not that type of dude. He wasn't that type of dude when he was a player. He played it to the hilt. Ime Udoka wasn't a great player, Gerald. He averaged, I think his career average is around maybe 13 to 15 minutes. Yeah.
5 or 6 points, I think.
He was a grinder, but he played hard. And he comes from that Popovich system where it's possible they could rest guys. I just don't think it's going to happen. They're up against it right now themselves. They play playoff opponents as well. So I don't think the Rockets are sitting there thinking that the second seed is safe.
Yeah. Again, but if they do win that game at Golden State, that does ease a lot of that tension right there. So that's a key game for them. It all depends, again, at the end of the season when they play Denver. Will they send their guys off? Will they rest everyone and give Denver that game? How close will they be to the Lakers at that point in time? Or how does Golden State figure all into this? These are things, again, we could have avoided, but we're here now. So we got to go ahead
and by the way, Gerald, the Rockets also play the Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
The Rockets play 4 teams that are between 3 and 8. 4. The only team they don't play in that group is Minnesota.
Bloodhound, you're crazy.
That was hilarious, Bloodhound.
John, let me bring it back to you. It was mentioned in the chat. Who would OKC and Houston like to play the most? if I was them, I would love to see the Sacramento Kings and or the Dallas Mavericks or the Phoenix Suns rise up, because those teams have been miserable all year. That would be my preferential if I was one of those teams, to see them win the play-in on that and eliminate a team like the Clippers or Minnesota or Memphis. But John, in all seriousness, the Lakers, if they get that 3rd seed, who are you targeting for a 6th seed? Because Joe and I, actually, we are in agreement with the Clippers, just because, again, the Clippers, they play really good defense, but not good enough to scare you. They don't play good enough offense to scare you. And right now, they just don't have enough on their team to get it done, in my opinion, which is reflective of their standings in the Western Conference. But who would you like to see them face in the Western Conference first round?
I agree. I agree with the Clippers. And honestly, the non-traveling, that goes so understated. Yes. Like, especially when you have LeBron James on your team, especially when you know, we talk about what do we talk about here all the time? We get no practice time. Part of the reason we get no practice time sometimes, guys, is, and I know some of it is like the guys are soft, but it's also the schedule doesn't really allow for it as much. Like, that's one thing. Like, the schedule doesn't really, because these guys are traveling, and they can either choose to get that time to rest, or they can choose to get that time to practice. They're going to choose rest every single time. But when you just eliminate travel, like, take that shit right out of the picture, you can still get your rest, and you can still practice, and you can get a lot of practice time. So to me personally, I think that would be ideal to see the Clippers. Like I said, Minnesota wouldn't really want to see him as much, because I think they could abuse us outside and inside. But Clippers would just not really worried about them. And to answer, I forgot whose question. I think it was YYC's question earlier. Who I'd rather see between the Warriors or Denver? I'd probably rather see the Warriors, to be honest with you.
Joe, let me bring it back to you. Once again, the Lakers win 124-108. The Lakers are currently in 3rd place in the Western Conference. Sharon had mentioned that exactly. Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more.
Real quick, hold on. Just sorry, I forgot to say this, Gerald. Shout out Hustler INC, man, because boy, oh boy, was this chat loud yesterday about Luka. Me, Joe, and Gerald. Sean, brother, you missed it yesterday. The chat was very, very loud about Luka, and right now, not seeing all those guys here today. So crickets today. But all right, and mind you, I said this.
Oh, you were on mute.
We all said this would happen. We all said
I will never.
We all said this would
blame
happen,
Luka
man.
for anything. So deal with it.
Yeah, and I mean, I didn't say that. I said I'll blame him.
I said it.
That's fine. I'm saying what I'm saying, and what I said is that
you got a
I
problem
want to
with
see
that?
if y'all keep that same energy, and nobody kept that same energy, because everybody's been extremely quiet when I told y'all this would happen.
I'm not even paying attention.
Everybody thinks they're the chef.
Yeah, for all those mouth breathing, horn swaggling cracker croakers. It's a Blazing Saddles joke. Anyway, for all you morons out there that just love to come out of the woodwork or out of your mama's basement and talk about how Luka had a bad performance, he's a bum, he's overweight, and today you can all shut the fuck up and have a Coke and a smile and
incorrect text. That's what he
James Hex, have a Coke and smile and shut the fuck up, according to Richard Pryor.
Text. Woo, incorrect text.
I've been asking
who's cooking who? I'm cooking you. Incorrect text. Woo!
I've been asking this guy to shut up for so long. This guy, I'm so happy everybody's on board. You guys have no idea. I've been telling this guy in the comments that he is an idiot for so long, and I'm glad the whole LFD.
You know what? One of these days, I should erect a Hall of Shame. We got a Hall of Fame of viewers and whatnot. A Hall of Shame. We have destroyed and owned so many of these losers like Incorrect Hex over the years. And the thing is, they keep coming back for more. They keep coming back for more. They want more. They're glutton for punishment.
We got to do a Hall of Fame of Block getting cooked, of James Hex getting cooked.
Oh, there's a list. There is a list. 7/1 grand. Yeah, there's a whole list. There's a whole list of losers.
Luka is trash.
Basically, yep.
But he's white trash, which is better than green or brown trash.
Exactly. So let me bring it back to you, Joe.
The hell does that even mean?
Well, why are you discriminating against trash? All trash is trash. Why are you discriminating against garbage?
Sam,
and by the way, what comes out of your mouth? Are you watching the show
with your wife?
What Joe? Can we stop with the wives thing now?
He watches the show with his wife.
He wants to see a picture of his wife after the divorce. Sharon earlier said, Joe, is the possibility still there for the Lakers to get into the play-in, i.e. them losing games? The answer is yes. The answer is yes. And the rest of the schedule is not that great for us because it starts off with 2 games in Oklahoma City. Your thoughts on how concerned you are the Lakers might fall into the play-in?
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not concerned.
Okay.
I'm not.
I'm not concerned about really any team.
Okay.
I'm more concerned with, will the Lakers be healthy and mentally focused enough to win?
Absolutely.
And we're not going to know that until they get to the playoffs. And this has to be structured correctly, in my view. And we're not going to know that until the season's over. The Lakers playing the Clippers in the first round would be immensely helpful in terms of their health and their fatigue. Then in the second round, if they face Minnesota or Houston, I would prefer Houston because it's a much lesser travel setup, although not by much. But as far as the team that they're playing, I don't fear Minnesota or Houston, and I don't care how good Anthony Edwards is. He has never scared me in any game or series, regardless if he's playing the Lakers or not. He has never, ever scared me. He disappears way too much for a guy that I have to worry about. The only player I worry about in the NBA is Jamal Murray with 5 seconds left.
And against the Lakers.
Yes.
But now
I can't say I blame you.
Well, now we got Luka.
And that's funny. Sorry, go ahead, Sean. The thing is, I fear actually anyone at the end of a quarter because the Lakers are dog shit bad when it comes to freaking stopping anyone from not scoring at the end of a quarter. And they can't score to save their goddamn lives either. That's because it's the same thing we keep reiterating. It's this bipolarness that also resonates in our analysis after every game. We'll sit here, we see these guys play like gangbusters one game, and then they play like complete brain dead zombies the next game because they're tired. I don't know. We don't really have any consistent analysis because this team isn't necessarily consistent. It's a very bipolar team, and then we get suckered in there, and then anus pimples like James Hex comes on here and tells us about how LeBron sucks. You know, okay, if LeBron sucks, then who's good? Who?
Man.
Seriously, who's good if LeBron sucks?
What a great point,
Joe. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander at 24? Well, no shit. The guy's 16 years younger than him. So I don't understand this unless you're just saying it just to say it. No one really sucks here except maybe
not you, Joe. James
Jemison, you know. But even he didn't suck today. He actually did a job that we've been begging the Lakers to do all year, and they actually finally did it. I just don't know if it was by accident or on purpose.
So I wanted to go ahead and touch on this Magic, and I'll bring it back to you. Once again, the Lakers win 124-108.
It better be good because you've been touching on a lot of things that are
you know what? Like incorrect text for one. So
no more talking about just what the Houston Rockets are going to do.
Shut up, Joe. Anyways, Magic Man, bring it back to you. When you see this team, the Lakers.
Yeah, jerk.
He likes being, well, again.
I love being me a lot.
Yeah, that's as long as you're the only one. Thanks God for that. Sean, let me bring it back.
You could have really replaced Steve Martin in the jerk, Joe.
That off-rhythm dance that he does. Oh man, that's my jam. That's my jam.
The phone book is here. The phone book is here,
dude. That's how you knew Steve Martin was a freaking gem, man.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it when I was trying to do it. Like I kept, going to the beat, and I'm like, how did he? I can't get away from the beat. They probably did it in editing.
And when he puts the glass on, and everybody up by the end, everybody has the glass. And
now I gotta go watch that after the show.
Yeah, oh, that is such a great.
John's like, what the fuck you guys are talking about?
I don't know. I don't catch that movie reference.
You would laugh at this movie, John. You would laugh.
What's this movie called, guys?
Steve Martin stars in The Jerk. It's The Jerk.
Okay.
It's a story about my life.
Yeah. There you go. The phone book is here. And I'll just leave it at he's just so happy. All right. Tacos for everyone indeed, Hernan. But Sean, let me bring it back to you, my friend. Again, 5 games left, 2 games on the horizon with Oklahoma City. I mean, we can only hope that OKC might decide to rest some players. I'm not counting on it. The thing is, though, even if they are successful and do get the split in OKC, the next day after the second game is a back-to-back against a very determined Dallas in a homecoming for Luka, but AD will be waiting for them as well.
100%, Gerald. So this 3-game trip, you got to win. I think you got to win at least 2. You got to win at least 2. Keep pace. You have to. We have the toughest schedule remaining, so you play.
Why wouldn't you?
You play OKC twice. You play Houston. That's tough. That's a tough stretch. So you better secure victories against Dallas and Portland, because you need to win. I think the Lakers need to get at least 51 wins. I think 51 or 52 wins is the key here, Gerald, for that 3rd seed. So you have to win at least 3 of these next 5 games, preferably 4, because everybody's playing one another. Houston decides a lot here. They play the Clippers, the Lakers, the Nuggets, and the Warriors. They play the whole Pacific Division. And by the way, interestingly enough, the Clippers have a home back-to-back with Dallas right now. They defeated Dallas tonight. They've got the Mavericks again tomorrow night. The Lakers, on the other hand, are the Pacific Division team going to the Northwest to play OKC twice in 3 days. And Gerald, I really think that home afternoon game is for the taking. I really do. I think you can catch OKC on an off afternoon. Now, it's rare that they lose back-to-back games. It's very rare. They've only lost 13 games all year. But I think that one's right for the picking if the Lakers want it. Because I've seen OKC play afternoon games 4 times. And in the 3 of the 4 games, they were basically playing with their food too. Now, eventually they took care of business. But I think this is an opportunity for the Lakers here to go into OKC on Sunday afternoon on national television and make a statement.
I will say this, though. They are going to have to make a statement, at least one, if not both those games. But, John, as we get close to the end of the season, Joe mentioned whether by accident or whether it was directed towards him, Trey Jameson, for whenever he gets in there, is proven maybe not the most skilled basketball players, but a player with his linebacker-like strength to be able to be, for lack of a better term, thug for us. For lack of a better term. So I will give this to you, John. With Maxi Kleber, who had the update with the Lakers that he's just finally getting back on the court, starting to shoot around, he's starting to practice, but they gave no timeline, absolutely no timeline on when he'll come back for the Lakers, if at all. Your thoughts on getting Trey Jameson, maybe a shot, giving him a full contract so he'll be eligible for the playoffs and maybe get himself thrown out with Jokic at some point in time down the road. That's my hope, is that you bring him in there, you just try to go ahead and just tell him to put a bear hug on Jokic and get themselves thrown out. That's what I'm hoping.
Joe, do you have something to say? I seen Joe looks oddly suspicious.
He's a thug, man.
Okay.
He knows what he's there for. He knows he's as an enforcer. He's there to go ahead and do just that.
Hey, look, I'll say this.
Enforcer, Alan. Enforcer. How about that as a better term?
There you go. Enforcer. I think having an enforcer in this league is I think really slept on. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, you have to have enforcers in this league. Literally, the Pacers.
The other team's fans will call him a.
I can't believe you insulted Alan, man.
But listen,
shut up. I didn't.
The Pacers literally.
I did not call Alan any such thing.
James Johnson to
I can't be a part of this.
Be an enforcer, to be the thug of the team, or however you want to call it, man. And I think that Jameson could bring us some value. You know what I'm saying? He generally could bring us some value. Because when you have that enforcer on your team, Gerald, not only do you do what happened, like today, like Jose Alvarado was running around, he hip checked him, kind of.
Joe, are you pulling a Danny? Are you doing a Danny right now, Joe?
Joe, stop. Listen,
for the love of God, stop, please.
You're pulling a Danny, Joe.
As soon as he sees Alan come in the chat, he always tries to.
I knew he was going to do that, by the way. I just knew when he got up what he was planning on doing.
Not even brought out Sports Baby. He knew right away.
Devious.
But listen, I think having an enforcer on your team is really important. And I think having him there
hold on, let me mute myself.
could make a difference here. It could make a difference.
So who do you get rid of? Let
me tell you.
Who do you send packing?
There's
Shake. No more cardio, bro. Reddish.
Shake. Shake's got to go.
Shake it off. Shake it off.
Shake it up. Shake it off. Shake it off. My daughter loves that song. Shake it off. Shake it off. Ooh, hoo. It's in Sing. Sing 2, guys. I know that movie back and forth.
What movie?
Movie Sing. I have a 4-year-old daughter.
Sing what?
You might not relate. It's a movie called Sing. But anywho, yeah, I'd let go of Shake, honestly. Shake's bringing nothing to the table.
You watch movies called Sing. You didn't watch The Jerk?
Let him talk.
It's my daughter's movie. I just sit there and
Johnny,
watch with her.
Keep going, brother. Keep
yes.
Going.
So, to me, I get rid of Shake because he brings nothing to the table with no enforcer, while Trey Jameson could be that enforcer. And if anything, if a player's out there balling out, I tell Jameson, hey, go out there, use all your 6 fouls on him.
We're gonna need him in these next 2 games, Gerald, because guess what? Kelly Olynyk need Jackson Hayes right in the what.
Speaking of thugs, Kelly Olynyk is a thug.
He is.
Shoot the 3.
Shawty want to be a thug.
Yeah. So Lou Dort has become one of the.
Talk to Kevin Love. He'll tell you what he thinks of him.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Snapped his shoulder right out of place.
Lou Dort
I saw that live.
Like a wishbone.
He's like going one way, his shoulder's going the other way. Because he's Olynyk is using it like an attaché case and just holding on to it. Just go this way. Yeah, exactly.
Hell are you guys talking about?
Lou Dort. So
Kelly Olynyk.
Lou Dort has become one of the dirtiest players in the NBA, Gerald, which is a surprising statement. However, it remains true. And I'm sure there's going to be come a moment in these next 2 games where Dort tries something on Austin Reaves, or I'm guessing Luka, because I would guess that they will put Alex on Austin, which is going to be interesting, and you're going to have I believe Wallace and Dort checking Luka. So it's going to be very interesting here.
Where does Caruso play?
Man, YYC, bro. Stop with the fucking age. Age got nothing to do with shit. He talked about, I know, Shotty want to be a thug. Come on, brother. sorry, Sean.
Was that a Tupac song?
Oh yeah, like that's a little ageist, isn't it? Can't John?
I know, bro.
Can't John listen to whatever music he wants to listen
dude.
to?
Some old people are just annoying when it comes to that shit. YYC, come on, shut up, bro.
Come on, bro. Yeah, like
I'm not your bro, and that's $80.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, bro. Brody.
Yep.
What up? What up?
Sean,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Joe's the dignified one right now.
Joe's too cool to do that.
You're gonna make me stand up again?
Yeah, yes. YYC, it's a Tupac song.
Oh well, you didn't do it.
YYC, how are you gonna say I can't listen? YYC, you're gonna say I can't listen to Tupac, but you didn't know that was a Tupac song? Come on, YYC. Come on, man.
I still think it's a shame though when you drive by the site, the actual place, nothing, no memorial, no nothing. There's nothing. You know, the influence he had on culture, and yeah, just what the influence he's had since then, and there's just nothing. It's just no. It's just a street corner. That's pretty much essentially what it is now. It's sad.
It's sad. Yeah. I am gonna hop to do my 3-minute game recap though, guys. So if you guys really do want to catch me on any of my channels, please do go follow it. My Instagram is almost at 3,000 followers, so please go check it out. It's Lakers_corner. TikTok is Lakers_corner 24. And then my YouTube, I do 3-minute game recaps, talk about the game in its totality, do some film breakdown sometimes, called Lakers Corner. Check me out. But thanks for everyone being here, and glad to see you guys. And great Lakers win, guys. The lamp is lit up. Sean, Gerald, Joe, I'll see you boys.
Great job, John. Go ahead and check out Lakers Corner and Clutch Talk today for all the casuals out there, indeed.
All right, boys. I'll see y'all.
Yes, but
Later.
I want to go ahead and get it back to Joe. Fight Hernan says, "Fight Joe." Why does Joe?
Hernan wants me to cook.
He wants you to rant. I don't know why you want to rant. Why do we?
Hernan, I'm waiting on a trigger. I'm waiting on a trigger. I'm trying to see if I can catch something, but everybody's in such a good mood. What?
I guess if incorrect hex, I know we have a message for if Black joins up, but
James Hex. John is too young to understand that you can't have a 40-year-old run your offense for 35 minutes a game.
Oh, there he is.
And they think they go deep in the playoffs. Luka should be run.
See, Gerald, you know, this ageist thing is really annoying. That you started off your point by saying John is too young enough. So you're already being condescending, you prick.
Yeah, exactly.
You're already being condescending. And this is a guy who knows basketball in and out, and he's probably forgotten more about basketball than you can retain. Secondly, you don't know what the hell you're talking about because LeBron doesn't run the offense. It runs through Luka. You clod, you nincompoop, you maroon. It runs through Luka.
You just bypassed the bad language on YouTube. Good job, Sean.
There you go. Good job, Sean. But let me ask you this: both
I could have said boo too, you incompetent boo.
I'm gonna bypass it too on the next discussion. Go ahead.
Let me just ask you this real quick to make the point. Do you guys like the Beatles? Any Beatles songs?
Yes.
There you go. That's before your time.
It is
Music
before
doesn't
my
count.
time.
Music
It
doesn't
does.
count.
But no,
It
it's just the fact that John is not allowed to like Tupac
No.
songs
Music
because of
doesn't count.
divorce?
Your age doesn't matter with music. Music is
It should.
universal.
I agree.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But we're also talking about today, and John has the same pair of eyes that nitwit does, but John actually pays attention to what he's watching.
Good point.
Chowderhead.
All right, Joe, you had a point you want to make. I guess since Hernan seems to be very intended, big shout out to Hernan on you trying to cut some.
Let me see if Sharon can trigger something, because she was kind of nipping at the rattlesnake.
She was very determined yesterday. Amongst
Sharon
all
wanted
people yesterday,
she wanted to tempt the rattlesnake. And
what
the
does
reason why I
age
mentioned
matter when LeBron is playing as a top 10 player in the league? Only his play matters.
Here's the issue with LeBron. When he doesn't play well, there's this retort that he's 40 years old. When he plays well, there's this retort that he's amazing and he's doing it at 40 years old. That doesn't make any sense. You need to pick one or the other. You can't conveniently say when he doesn't play well, he's 40, and then when he does play well, look what he's doing at 40. That's Bush League. Bush. And as far as the crowd that's been gnawing on us in these comments from yesterday's show about me needing this validation for their hate for Luka Doncic, you will never hear me say a negative thing about Luka. Ever. Now what are you going to do? What are you going to do now? You want to write your little paragraphs? You're never, ever going to hear me say anything negative about Luka. Now what? What are you going to do about it? I'll tell you what you're going to do about it. Not a damn thing. So, how do we proceed here? The Lakers have shown, whether before Luka, so we're going to say instead of BC, AD, we're going to say BL, and then AD. Oh, yeah. AD, AD went that way after Doncic. You getting me there? You like it? Good? Sean?
BD and AD?
I thought it was kind of creative. I thought it was creative.
Okay. Yeah, it's not bad.
Lakers have had the same tendencies before and after. And that's just the makeup of this team. It could be a little bit of JJ Redick because he's one of the few guys that's been here from the beginning. Could be LeBron. Is it AR? Does he have that kind of impact? Because the second AR has, you want to talk about me and you needing me to be all up in Luka's business when he's not doing well. I have seen a handful of occasions where AR doesn't play well, and you all are waiting at the gallows. Seriously. And at this point in the season, it's done. At this point, I'm done predicting. I'm done worrying about any of this, really. If I'm in the moment and I got to comment on something specific, fine. But really, honestly, whether they had won or lost tonight, I probably would have had the same demeanor as I have now because I'm about done with the regular season. I wish I could fast forward it a week and some change so that we could just get out of this rut. Once the playoffs start, what's going to matter with this particular team is how the seeding plays out. This team is not, in terms of depth-wise, equipped to really win a championship. However, because most teams in the NBA are softer than most of your guys' constitution, we don't know if somebody gets hurt like they did in the entire Eastern run last year for the Celtics, which would open up the possibility of the Lakers beating Oklahoma City in the Western Conference Finals. We don't know if that might happen. What if Shea Gilgeous turns an ankle? Right? We don't know. It could happen because it's been happening. So what would help that process, because this team needs to be fresh, they're tired. Sean, Gerald, they're tired. So I'm trying to, be understanding. Okay, you're tired. Well, let's Let's hope that they play the other LA team, so they don't have to be in a state-of-the-art plane and eat gourmet food and have to worry about actually getting up and taking a leak instead of just pissing right there in their portable bucket or whatever it is that they do over there. We got to be sensitive to that, guys. It's a very rough life for these guys. They're making $30-40 million a year. I mean, they're getting taxed half that money, man. These guys are living a brutal life. So, by staying in LA for at least 2 weeks, because for some stupid-ass reason, Adam Silver has not fixed this problem. He likes the first round to take 18 months. I don't know why. And then what happens is in the second round, everything is every other day. Why don't you spread it out? You're doing it anyways. So, Lakers playing LA in the first round greatly increases the chances of the Lakers going deep in the playoffs. Now, if the Lakers didn't play like assholes for the last couple of weeks in areas that they shouldn't have, they would have been able to stay in the 2. And then at that point, that would have been a little easier to allow yourselves home court in the second round. Then if they're playing Memphis, if they're playing Minnesota, at least they have a shot at winning those first 2 games at home and only having to do 1 trip over there. Likely. They could probably win in 5, whatever. There's a greater chance of that. But they fucked that up because they needed to rest people. I don't know what the hell they're resting for. You could have gotten better rest by playing hard, but that's just me. So they beat the Clippers, let's say, in the first round. Now they're going to play Houston, Minnesota. Maybe Golden State hits a snag again and they drop to the 6. I'm sorry. They upset. Whatever. They end up being the 7th seed and they upset Houston. I don't know. I just don't know, and I'm not going to predict it. Then now, that actually might not be a bad thing. The NBA's happy. They get a Steph LeBron series. Plus, the Lakers don't have to travel outside the West Coast. Lot of scenarios here. If they can do something like that and then meet Oklahoma City in the Western Conference Finals, they'll be better equipped energy-wise to go past that should things work out.
And that got to remember the first round, Joe, does get spread out more than any other round in the NBA playoffs. So the Lakers may have 2, sometimes 3 days off if the schedule, shows it, because sometimes that just happens in that first round, especially early on, Joe, before any teams get eliminated, just because they have a sheer amount of games. And that the NBA loves to go ahead and put as many of those games on TV as possible.
And this is crucial because the initial reaction is going to be, well, Joe, wouldn't you rather play a team that's not close to home if they're going to have breaks anyways? No, because what they've shown this year is when they have more than a day off, they suck ass in that first game. Back. They're not they don't what is it? They don't handle prosperity well. They don't handle rest. The one thing that they beg for, there's not even a good result from that. They play better when they're jacked up because they don't take as soon as they take 2 or 3 days off, they play like shit in that first game. So you don't deserve 3 or 4 days off. At least if they play LA in the first round, they're at home anyways. So whether they're rested or not, they're still at home. Win that series, then I'll be comfortable with if it's Houston, if it's Golden State, or if it's Minnesota in the second round. I would actually prefer Golden State because, again, of the travel thing. It would really, really save those guys the travel. And then at that point, yeah.
Well, let me bring it to you one more question, Joe. Would you be frustrated or would you be upset if the Lakers are only 1 game behind Houston when they finish up the season?
I would. It would be frustrating. Yeah, it would be frustrating. And
because of what we've been saying, you and I have been saying for weeks since that Milwaukee game.
The one that the game that I look back on that really, really will end up, I think, really costing them is that Chicago game.
Yeah.
The Chicago game, that the criticism of players when they screw up and the response to that. we should be able to criticize a player one game and then prop them up the next game. That's how it goes. These are all separate games. It doesn't. We're not sitting here crucifying the player for every game he plays. We're not doing that. LeBron James in that particular game was horrible, even worse than he usually is at the end of games. And he needed to be criticized, and you can't deflect it and say, oh, well, so-and-so didn't play well. It doesn't matter what happened before they were up 115 to 110 with 12 seconds left. It doesn't matter. At that moment, you're supposed to close that. You're supposed to close that game even if you're the worst team in the NBA. There's another game that bothered me when they were up 3 in Denver with everyone injured, and they couldn't make one singular, maybe not a stop, but could you not allow Jokic to literally get the ball right enough? How the hell do you screw that up off a timeout? Those type of things are the things that gnaw at me, that when I see something in another game in the future, that absolutely it like compounds itself when I add those things in my thoughts, because those are not supposed to be mistakes you make. If you get beat by a better player, if you get beat by a bigger player, I get that. That's normal. But to allow someone to just stand somewhere and you're sitting there looking in the sky, or you can't literally inbound the ball to another player, a play that the defense has to figure out what you're doing. That means you have a step on everyone, and they still can't figure it out. Those type of things are the things that frustrate me, because it's low IQ basketball, and this team has Luka Doncic on it and LeBron James. Those things should never happen. I mean, let LeBron or Luka take the ball out then. Great players are not supposed to screw up pop flies. Yes, I'm talking about Aaron Judge too. You're not supposed to drop those balls. And look what happened when he did, right? It's catastrophic. That's it. It's a tennis match of emotion. It's a tennis match of criticism versus against props, all that stuff. That's pretty much what the Lakers' theme of this team is they're just as bad as they are good, over and over again.
Magic Man.
Yeah.
Would you be frustrated too if they fall just a game short out of second place in the Western Conference?
100%, Gerald. 100%. I know Joe says one game. I can think of 4 off the top of my head right now. That looking back, what were you doing? You lost to Charlotte at home. Charlotte is one of the worst teams on the road this year, and they went into your home building and they punked you. That was one. The Atlanta game was another one. They had the Atlanta game, and they let the Hawks back into the game because, Gerald, what were they doing?
Playing with their food.
Mm-hmm. That's 2.
Orlando.
I'm thinking of the Brooklyn game as well, Gerald. You had a strong first quarter, and then you just let a pretty bad Brooklyn Nets team beat you.
Yeah.
That's
Utah.
3. That's 3. Utah is 4. And then I'm thinking there's 4 games right there, Gerald.
Orlando with Franz Wagner.
That's 5 games. The
Milwaukee game.
I thought of 4 off the top of my head. Gerald's just added a couple
Milwaukee
more.
game where they just totally tanked it in.
Mm-hmm. There's 6.
Both Chicago games.
7. So, I mean, even if you won 3 of those games, you'd only be a game away from catching Houston, and you play them one more time. So it adds up, Gerald. It does. We've watched this game for too long and have seen too much to know that this is a problem at the end of the year when you look back and say, that one. And As we've seen, Gerald, you can go from in the West, you can go from 2 to 5 to 8 pretty quickly. So now's not the time to fold in the tent and say, let's get ready for the playoffs. You got 5 games left. I think you need to win at least 4 of them to secure the 3rd seed.
Last thing I'll say before we go, guys, is that when it comes right down to it, our uncertainty about how the Lakers will do in the playoffs, where they'll land, who they'll face, et cetera, Joe, I want to bring it back to you, and I'll bring it back to Magic for some final thoughts on this. The Lakers are 30-10 against the Western Conference. Again, they own virtually all the tiebreakers that are out there that could possibly happen at this point in time. 30-10, for however much we do not like the way they've played on the road against other teams in the East, et cetera, they have been the second best team in the West when facing against Western Conference teams. So going into a playoff format in the Western Conference, you have to take that into consideration at the Lakers when they're playing teams in their own conference. For the most part, they have at least stepped up to the plate on 30 occasions and won those games, Joe.
So using the statistics and the results of this season, which is a big part of what our analysis is during the shows, we're basing off what their habits are. They win at home more than they win on the road, considerably. They win at home when they play Western Conference teams. They don't win at home. They don't win when they get too relaxed. They have to be kind of slapped around. They have to be kind of pressured,
challenged,
and it's probably why they're tired and they're so. They're not literally dumb, but they play dumb. They're sitting there and they're tired, and they've said they're tired. Luka has said he's tired. Yet, if you just do the basics, you probably wouldn't be as tired. Inbound the ball at the end of the games, and you wouldn't have lost these games. Inbound the ball, or just hold the damn team away from the basket once. Can you execute defense just once? And then you win those games in Denver without LeBron and Luka. That's a considerable change from going with a 3-point lead with 53 seconds left. And all you have to do is, at the very least, don't let them shoot a 3 and make them work for a 2. What do you do all day when you're not playing in the games? I don't want to hear about you don't practice. Fuck that. Work on that at least. What are you doing in the hotel, jerking off? Like, seriously, what do you do then? Work on your deficiencies. And I don't get mesmerized by the eloquence of JJ Redick and his stance at the podium. That doesn't do that little act doesn't do shit. If I had a chance to be in the media room, I'd be like one of those guys when they're interviewing the press secretary. I'd be like, so what are you doing when you guys are having issues in certain areas of the game? Are you guys working on? And it's going to come off condescending. It's going to come off disrespectful. And I'll probably get kicked out, because that's the kind of society we're in. The second you challenge anybody these days, right away they start to censor you. That's why I get very adamant about people censoring the chat. There is always an exception. The abhorrent stuff, right? We talked about this. But if you're there to talk smack, even if you're dumb, which we do have a lot of dumb people there, that doesn't mean I'm gonna censor you. I'm just gonna crack you up. My guys are gonna crack you up. That's part of the gig. That's how it works. So my question to JJ Redick would be, you guys are struggling inbounding the ball. Are you guys working on this? And then, of course, I know right away what JJ is going to do. He'll have this patronizing response. He'll move his shoulders a little bit when he takes his microphone, like he's about to do a set and throw some bars, right? Maybe if he clicks the right way and it's the right time, maybe I'll be like, look, coach, I'm tired of you guys not executing the inbound pass. I want to know if you guys are working on that. It could be a rhetorical question at that. It sounds like a rhetorical question. It looks like you guys aren't working on it. So
I agree.
Can you elaborate? Why? Are you going to tell us they're tired? Are you going to tell us they're just not smart enough to do it? Say something. Tell us something. These are the things I want to know. And I think if all things considered, our opinions and our predictions, no one really can look at hear what I just said and say, well, Joe, I guess you can say, well, Joe, you don't understand. It's a hard game to play. Absolutely, it's a hard game to play when you have to guard Jokic, when you have to guard Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, when you have to, I guess, get past someone like, I don't know, Triple J in Memphis. Sure, that is hard. Inbounding the ball isn't. That's a grounder to the shortstop. That's a slow grounder to the shortstop. That should be basic basketball play that you have to make happen. Those are the things I think about. Those are the things that play with my emotions. They have to figure out something before they get into this thing. And they're still in that mode of finding out where they're going to end up here. If they don't get the 3 seed, I said the percentages of them winning the title was at 60%, which is extremely high at the 2. But as soon as they dropped one level, they went down to 40. If they go below 3, I'm going to say probably 10%. And then, of course, if they go below 4, it's a 0 for me. And that very well could happen. If they lose back-to-back games to Oklahoma City, they're not. I don't think they're going to finish in the 3rd spot. They're actually going to lose the division too, by the way.
That could be a possibility. I hear you on that one,
Gerald. I saw Martin post something, and here, I'll just blow this up. I just find it very interesting here, Gerald. Do you notice a common? This is, by the way, the Lakers' best starting 5 lineups. Do you notice a common theme, Gerald, amongst the Lakers' 5-man units here?
Besides the fact that LeBron James is in it, Austin Reaves is also in it.
LeBron James and Austin Reaves are both in all of them, and Luka and LeBron and Austin are all on the floor together. I'm not sure why some people are having trouble computing this. Austin Reaves is not going back to the bench. Are we clear about this? Is this conversation over now for everybody? He is not going to be going back to the bench. LeBron had 27 tonight. Austin Reaves had 30. Luka had 35. Martin, if you are saying that Austin Reaves should go to the bench, then I submit to you in the chat, post who you would replace him with and why you think that person would be as efficient or more efficient than Austin Reaves. Because that's the only 2 reasons why I should, or anyone should, listen to why Austin Reaves should go back to the bench. It makes no sense.
At this point, you can't. You can't, because he's averaging 20 a game for the Lakers. Unfortunately, you just don't have that kind of offense that somebody comes in there. Joe and I, even at the beginning of the season, we thought still that maybe the best place would be for on a championship level team is put him at the 6th man. But he has grown beyond that as a playmaker, as an individual, guy that the team is relying upon. And plus the fact that he's not going to like it at this stage because he's got a lot of money riding around the corner for him as well. So at this point, you got to have an alternative, and the Lakers just don't have a consistent alternative coming off the bench that could do that job. DFS is all over the place. Gabe Vincent is all over the place. Those guys are all over the place. And of course, we talked about Dalton Knecht already. There is just no consistent alternative. If you want better defense in there, Yeah, that's great, but DFS and Vanderbilt, especially Vanderbilt, cannot give you what you need out on the floor
And
for
Gerald,
35 minutes a game to make
100%.
up for that loss of 20 points a game.
100%. And I think Martin is overlooking one big issue that he's got with putting Reaves on the bench, and that is when you have Luka Doncic going into the paint and you have 3 or 4 defenders within a 3 to 5 foot radius of him, who is hitting the open shot, Martin? DFS has not been hitting the open shots in the games consistently, Gerald. We've heard Luka brag about him and glaze him up about how, oh yeah, he's hitting them in practice. But the fact of the matter is that the really only consistent threat we have from 3 that takes them and makes them and is open is Rui.
And he's Rui, 40% or close to a shooter, Magic Man, but he just doesn't take enough shots. There are days where he only takes 2 or 3 shots where he actually disappears. It's a case where he just is not consistently aggressive enough. That's why when you guys when we traded for him, I wasn't as high on him because the fact he has always been and always will be a 10-point a game player. It just evens itself out because the fact that that's who he is. I mean, you see some signs from him that you could say, oh, maybe his game could really allow him to be at a different level. But for whatever reason, Magic Man, he just doesn't have the aggressiveness to say, I want that ball every game, 7, 10, 12, 15 times a game and do something with it on a consistent basis. It's just not who he is. It's not his DNA. That's why he'll always be that 10-point a game player, is because it's just and he's 31 now. So at this point, he is who he is. It's just thinking you don't have anyone there that you could say, okay, Austin, I'm taking you and 20 points a game out of the starting lineup. I'm playing you 10 to 15 minutes less and putting someone and bringing them up 10 to 15 minutes more and getting that kind of production, or making up for it so much better on the defensive end. That's the problem. We don't have a defensive stopper. We have, when we play the best defense, if you notice in that Denver game, that when everybody got together, when they play as a collective unit and communicate on defense, that's when their best defensive performance is. That's what they did over the course of that period of time, was the way they communicated with each other in defense. When they lost that, you see what happens. People shoot like crazy from the outside, and the Lakers can't stop anyone. And that's what we've seen, what's happened so far. But, you know, we're going into the playoffs. They obviously got to get it together, and what's coming right down to it, guys, because starting Sunday, it gets real as we play 2 games in Oklahoma City starting on Sunday, Joe.
Yeah, this is going to determine the seeding. I believe the next 2 games. Mm-hmm. If they split it, they have a chance to get the 3. If they win both, they'll for sure have the 3. If they lose both, there's a big chance they may drop to 6. That's a scary change. That's a scary flip, because that means they're going to have to start the playoffs again on the road. And that will probably spell doom. Even if they can escape a first round, win, they're going to get taxed in that series, and then they're going to get taxed even if they get past the second round. They'll get taxed enough where they probably won't be able to beat whoever they face in the Western Conference Finals. That happened 2 years ago. That's what happened when they put their heart and soul in playing Memphis and Golden State. But as soon as they met Denver, they had no juice. They kept running out of gas towards the end of the games, and they got swept.
So tomorrow, Joe, do you have a Joe Osoro experiment for everyone out there? Because I think
I will be on tomorrow. Yeah, I will be on tomorrow. The Dodgers are playing tomorrow. They lost today, 3-2. Props to Tommy Tanks. Hit a 2-run homer in the top of the 9th, and then umpires kind of botched a call that I had watched over and over again. I couldn't understand why they changed the call on the field, when it was clear that you didn't really see any indisputable evidence that the tag got to Chris Taylor before he hit his hand on the bag. Matter of fact, Trey Turner's glove hit the dirt first before he hit the elbow, and you can't see if Chris hit the bag. That was a terrible call by the ump. There was an ump literally looking at the play, and they pretty much said, no, we're going to go with the tape that doesn't show exactly where Chris' hands was when the glove hit the elbow. I thought that was a stupid call. And what the fuck is the point of all these reviews if your umpires are still stupid fucking idiots?
Incorrect Hex, incorrect Hex, incorrect Hex. James Hex is incorrect. Yeah, you are incorrect as always, James. I don't know what you said because it got deleted, but must have been something.
What the hell?
Because everybody
happened?
after it goes like, "You crazy, you crazy, you crazy." It's so funny because So
what?
I don't know. Nobody really cares what you have to say. So I think they just get tired of you. So. Sorry, incorrect Hex, but we thank you for being dumb enough to stay on with us for an hour and 41 minutes. I love someone. Okay, Joe, would you ever stay watching someone that's going to tell you you're dumb for an hour and 41 minutes?
If I'm a masochist, yeah.
Oh, then I guess incorrect Hex is. Yeah.
Not in that way.
Okay, well, he must be.
Negative attention. It's very similar to those people who go on TikTok and all that, and they're videoing themselves eating, and they're 400 pounds. They know people are going to make fun of them on the chat, and to them it's, oh, I just got 4,000 comments. Half of it is making fun of what I look like, but I'm getting attention. Negative attention is attention, and most people unfortunately need attention.
I guess so. No joker. Yes, it must be. I don't know. Again, it's just crazy. But the Lakers do take the victory today. But I guess our next game is on Sunday against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Magic Man, I'll close it out with you. Some final thoughts. Joe Soro tomorrow for the Joe Soro experiment. And then for Magic Man, it's going to be playback on Sunday, my friend. Big game on Sunday.
And now for my final thought, Gerald, in my Jerry Springer voice. Nobody wins. Anyway, I was going to do a Jerry Springer thing there. I really think this afternoon game is ripe for the picking. I've got just call it a hunch. It's going to be, I don't think Jalen Williams is healthy enough to play, and I don't think Isaiah Joe is going to play either, Gerald. So at this point in time, the Thunder are dealing with a couple of injuries. Nothing too significant, though. That being said, the Lakers need to win one of these games, and I actually, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, last year, Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks were in a playoff series against the Oklahoma City Thunder. And Gerald, it was a fairly competitive series. However, Luka got the best of the Thunder on the scoreboard and eventually eliminating them. And Lou Dort loves to hurt people. He's become a dirty ass player. I don't know where it came from. He didn't come into the league like that. But the past couple years, I've noticed a big change in him. And he's going to look to rough up Austin Reaves, Luka Doncic. He can't do it to LeBron. He's too big. That being said, this is a game where I do think you're going to need the introduction of Trey Jameson again. Especially considering the fact that if JJ was telling the Lakers that there's no way in hell you're going to get the rebounds against Şengün and Adams, what the hell do you think you're going to do with Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein? So you better be ready to box out all goddamn game long, because this is going to be a long 2 games. Oklahoma City plays torrid pace of offense. They muck it up defensively. They like to use their hands a lot. They themselves get a lot of free throws, but they also have a tendency, if the refs are happy whistles, to give up a lot of free throws at times. These are long games. So get your popcorn ready, because it's going to be a long game with the Oklahoma City Thunder.
And we'll find out on Sunday. Don't forget, at a time at 11 a.m. on Sunday, it is the Lakerholics. Tomorrow night on the Joe Soro channel, Joe Soro Experience channel, it is Joe Soro recapping the Dodgers and previewing the Lakers. I'm assuming the experiment. I like the experience better, but okay, the experiment.
It's an experience on the experiment. I get it.
There you go. The experiment, the experiment. He'll be going ahead and talking about the Dodgers right now, playing the Phillies this weekend, and maybe even previewing the Lakers as well. So yes, there you go. All right, guys.
And by the way, Brandon. Speaking of dirty plays, Lou Dort hit LeBron on the head, man. So don't give me this crap about Lou Dort plays LeBron hard. He does not play him hard, man. Look at the offensive rating of LeBron versus Lou Dort and get back to me, brother. See you next game.
No. Man, we always have to get a challenge
from
our audience.
They look like a bunch of dorts.
Well, we'll see. Again, heading to OKC, 2 games there over the course of 3 days. And then, of course, on that, you got a back-to-back, as Luka will have his reunion in Dallas, indeed. But we'll go ahead and cover it all for you. We'll go ahead and challenge it all against you. We'll go ahead and report it all on you. But we'll also go ahead and have the Joe Soro experiment on his channel as well. Like and subscribe. He does need all the help he can get in the world of YouTube. He does provide some good shows. I've watched them, and they're actually good stuff. So there you go. Be a part of what he's doing. Well, everybody needs help. You do need more than 51 subscribers, Joe.
I have 55.
It would help. Well, there you go. All right, moving up in the world already. I'm not going to say anything, because you know what? I was there once myself. So there you go. Yeah, long time ago, pre-Joe. But anyways, thanks so much again for joining us. We'll be back on Sunday. Joe will be here Saturday night on his channel, so go ahead and check it out. We'll be back for the Lakerholics at 11 a.m. right here on a great weekend upcoming. We'll find out what happens in the Western Conference with just a few games left. Can the Lakers do it? We'll find out right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast.
Joe reamed LeBron after the Chicago loss. That doesn't sound good. Sam, can you change the word